Hey, sixth graders, Mr. Gills here, and today we've got another video tutorial, and we're moving on to 2.2, Chapter 2, Section 2, which is on translating between words and math. A lot of times in math class, it's not even the math that can stump you, it's the word problem that can stump you. So we're going to take a look at some keywords that are going to help us decipher those keywords into math. Okay. Today there will be a few points where I ask you to pause and add a few graphic organizers on a separate sheet of notebook paper. So if you would, please get out a notebook piece of paper right now and add this graphic organizer to it. You could put 2.2 on top and then staple it to your Know It note sheet so that you can use this when test time rolls around. Be really helpful. Okay, so here are some action words that you might see in a word problem and the operation that it tells you to do. So to put together or combine would be to add. To find how much more or less, you would use subtraction. Putting together equal parts would be multiplying, and then separating into equal parts would be division. So again, if you want to pause and add this graphic organizer on a separate sheet of notebook paper, that would be wonderful. Okay, let's look at our first example that you'll also see on your Know It note sheet. For example 1, it says Lake Superior is the largest lake in North America. Let A stand for the area in square miles of Lake Superior. Lake Erie has an area of 9,910 square miles. Write an expression to show how much larger Lake Superior is than Lake Erie. Okay, so the first thing, the keyword is find how much larger. Okay, if you look back at your graphic organizer that you just made, you'd see that is keyword for subtract. So we're going to take the area of Lake Erie, and so we're going to subtract the area of Lake Erie from the area of Lake Superior. In this case, it told us A stands for the area of Lake Superior, so it would be A minus 9,910. Okay. In other words, Lake Superior is A minus 9,910 square miles larger than Lake Erie. Just being able to take those key words in that long word problem and minimize it down to a simple expression. That's one of the reasons I love math so much. Look at how much, this is like a paragraph here almost, and we can say that same thing in this tiny expression. Isn't that awesome? Okay, go to the additional example for 1B. It says let P represent the number of colored pencils in a box. If there are 26 boxes on a shelf, write an algebraic expression to represent the total number of pencils on the shelf. Okay, so again here, pick out some of the key words. To put together 26 equal groups of P, multiply 26 times P. Picking out those key words. Remember, when you're using multiplication, especially with algebra now, it's kind of nice when you don't even have to put any sign in there. Okay, we know the dot can mean it, or you could even put 26 times P. But remember, you don't really like to do this because now it looks like 26xp. So when we're using algebra, we really don't use this anymore. We prefer this method here, and that implies multiplication. So there are 26 P pencils on the shelf. Well, Mr. Gillis, is that my final answer? Yes, because we don't know this right here. We don't know this information, so we just write it as 26 times P. Okay, flip over to the back for the check it out example. Pause the video, see if you can do it on your own, and then unpause to see if you came up with the right answer. Okay, it says the Nile River is the world's longest river. Let N stand for the length in miles of the Nile. Okay, the next river is 3,030 miles long. Write an expression to show how much longer, our key phrase, the Nile is than the other river. Okay, so again, we're going to use subtraction to figure that out. So if we took N, which is the Nile, and we subtracted the other river's distance, that would give us our distance, or how much longer the Nile is than the other river. So hopefully you came up with N minus 3030 for your answer. We're going to skip this one. It's not on your sheet. Okay, here is one of those other graphic organizers that I want you to put on your piece of notebook paper. So please pause the video and add this information and this nice, neat graphic organizer to your notebook paper. Okay, so for this operation, specifically addition, here's an example of a numerical expression. Here's different words that represent addition. Here's an algebraic expression, and again, they use the same keywords here that were used up here. Okay, just showing a numerical expression and an algebraic expression. Okay, again, if you have to pause, do that to add the next graphic organizer of subtraction. Okay, numerical expression, the different keywords, subtracted, minus, difference, less than, or take away. And then the algebraic expression. So we just add a letter into this algebraic expression. And again, using those keywords. Same thing for multiplication. A lot of different ways that we can write multiplication. So with the classic X, or with the dot, or using parentheses, are all different ways that you can write it. Or in the algebraic expressions case, where you smush together the number and the letter. And the keywords that we use are times, multiplied by, and product of. For the most part, you'll also see groups of used when we're talking about multiplication. And the last one that you'll want for the last graphic organizer in your notes is division. Okay, so the most commonly used keywords would be divided by and quotient of. Okay, again, feel free to pause the video at any point to get these down. And that should be all you need on your sheet of notebook paper. So once you're finished with that, you can staple it to the Know It Notes sheet. Okay, so flash back now to the Know It Note piece of paper, and we're on example 2, letters A and B. It says write each phrase as a numerical or algebraic expression. Okay, the first one we have 987 minus 12. Only thing we need to do in this case is substitute in the subtraction sign for the word minus. Super quick and easy. And the next one, x times 45. Same thing, you can add in the dot, so 45 dot x, or 45 smush next to x. We would not want to write 45 times x this way, because now it looks like 45 double x, and that's just confusing. Again, try to get used to these two methods here. Okay, to check it out, the example is on the back. We've got for number 2, 42 less than 79. Remember, use this key phrase. Less than would mean to subtract. So 79 minus 42. Notice here how in the word sentence, 42 came first. So the most common mistake I see students make is they go 42 minus 79. This is incorrect. If it says 42 less than 79, to find your answer, you need to start with 79 and subtract that 42. Okay, so be careful. Order does matter when we're talking about subtraction and division. And letter B, we've got y divided by 22. And here you can write that in a couple different ways with the classic division sign, or what a lot of students refer to Sorry guys, I got cut off again. I'm gonna have to stop being so cheap and upgrade to the pro version so I can record longer than 10 minutes. But I think we had ended on letter B, and I was just saying that you can write division, what a lot of students refer to as the fraction method, but this means y divided by 22. Same thing. Okay, so we're on our last example, and it says write two phrases for each expression. So now we're doing the opposite. We're starting with the math expression, and we have to translate this into like an English sentence using words. Okay, so I've got 16 over b. Remember, this sign means to use division. So look back at your graphic organizer that you made to look at all the different keywords you could use for when you're using division. One way is you could write that out as 16 divided by b. Just use the word divided in place of the division sign there. Okay. Another way you could say that would be the quotient of 16 and b. Okay. And for letter B, remember when you have two numbers smushed next to each other like that, in parentheses, that's implying multiplication. Okay, so you could say 75 times 32, just substituting in the word times. Or you could also say the product of 75 and 32. Okay. I don't think you have this one on your sheet, but again, good practice. So we got 14 subtracted from 17, or 17 minus 14. And the last one, you can say 12 divided by C, or the quotient of 12 in C. Okay. If I were you, I would try these 5 problems, pause the video, see how you do. All right, hopefully you came up with something similar to these 5 for the lesson quiz. All right, hopefully this section makes sense to you. Again, just going from an English sentence, translating from words into math expression. If you have more questions, as always, please feel free to come and talk to me, ask a neighbor, or learn it the best way possible for you. We will see you next time.